All right, guys. So today I wanted to have you guys check out this Bob Reynolds lick that I really like, and I want to use it as an example of how you can, when you're transcribing something, how you can look at the notes, analyze it, figure out what devices he's using to create it, and figure out why it's cool. Why do you like it, and all that stuff. So let's hear what the lick sounds like. It's off of this video right here. I'll link it in the description so you guys can get to it, but this is what it sounds like. Right? So I mean, it's longer than that from the beginning, but I feel like that's a good place to start. Is it's right on the downbeat, and it's an easy. I mean, it's basically a pentatonic lick, and it's in a weird key. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna be able to transpose it into all 12 keys. So let's look at the basic outline chord structure. Basically, he's just playing this kind of a pop beat track, and the chord's basically B flat minor 9. It kind of sounds minor and major at the same time because there's a lot of extensions. It could be B flat minor 11, but it's B flat. He's clearly playing da da da. He's clearly playing B flat minor of some variation, so it doesn't really matter. Like if it's 9 or 11, it doesn't matter. So the way I would first look at this lick, this passage, this phrase, whatever you want to call it, is to label all the scale degrees that we have. And since everything is in the key, then it should be really easy. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put my text tool here in the finale, and we're going to do that. So keep in mind we're in B flat minor, which is a lot of flats. So make sure you keep track of your flats. But so the first note is C natural. What's the C natural? It's the 9 or the 2, which kind of makes me think it's 9 because he kind of starts on that 9 there. But we're just going to say 2 just because it's easier for you guys to think about, right? So this is a 2. 2. Let's put that up there. So that's the 2. What's this guy? 1 up from 2 is 3. Okay. So 2, 3, C, and D flat. That's a D flat, not D natural, D flat. So that's 3. This guy is the 5th. Let's put 5. Why is it 5th? Because it's 5 above B flat. B flat, C, D, E, F. Or B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F. In the key signature, but same difference. 5. This is a 6. This is the 6th degree of the scale, the A flat, because it's 6 above from that. 6, 2, 3, 5, 6. And then here, see, it almost kind of feels like it's major right here because that's almost kind of outlining the major 7. But I'm going to get to that in a minute because that's different way. That's the next step in analyzing. But right now, that's the 9. So we're going to put 9. Actually, this is the 7th. Gosh. That's the 7th. Sorry. That's the 7th. 5, 7, 9. Not 5, 6, 9. I don't know what I'm thinking. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Da 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 da. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. And so now after that, and this is a triplet, by the way. So next note is the 1, is the root. B flat and B flat minor 7 is the 1. And then he goes 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 1. And for saxophone players, there's a little thing he does on here that's kind of a false fingering trick he does right here. But maybe you'll have over that at the end, but we'll skip that for now. Right? Okay, so that's tied over. And then there's these 16th notes going down the minor pentatonic scale, which is, again, 5-note scale. So you've got 7, 7. We've got 5. Oh no. 5. Then we've got 4. First time we've seen the 4th, which is the E flat. That's a pretty common sound over the over any kind of a minor sound, to have that suspended 4th. It's not a good idea in major because it sounds a little weird, but in minor, that holding the 4th over the over a minor 7 is a great sound. It gets that nice like open 11 sound, so that's kind of cool. And that's the 3rd. Obviously, D flat is the 3rd, just like before. 7, 5, 4, 3. Let's move that 3 over a little bit. No, I don't want to redo that. I just want to do this. Okay. So then what's F again? Well, what's F over here is 5th, so that's the 5th. And a way you could do this too is that if you get most of the notes, then you know what they are. So you don't have to figure out, oh, that's the 5th. You don't have to count again. You can just be, oh, that was the 5th over here, that's the 5th over here. All right, so let's just quickly fill in the rest of these. That's the 3rd, 3, 4, 4. 5, 3, 4, 4. And then that's the 3rd. These 16th notes are 3. It's pentatonic, so 3, 1. 3, 1, 6, or 7 rather. 3, 1, 7, 6. 3, 1, 7, 6. Keep in mind these are the octave lower, but it's, you know, same difference kind of. So then 3, 5, 1. Boom. So now we have all the scale degrees in there. So it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 1, 7, 1, 1, 7, 5, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 4, 3, 1, 7, 6, 3, 5, 1. I mean, you don't have to obviously memorize it like that, but so that's what that's about. So now, theoretically, if you do that, you can transpose it into any key you want, not this really hard key. Although these kind of licks tend to lay best when they're in the same key that the artist was playing them in, generally speaking. So there's that. So next, what I want to do so let's listen to it again, so you can kind of hear it again. Hear it again. And then he goes on. There's a lot of cool licks in that solo, but this is probably my favorite one. So if you have your instrument out, if you have your horn out, or you have your piano or whatever, go ahead and try to play along with me. It's not going to sound the same as on the recording because this is in saxophone key, but since we're transposing it so you can play it all 12 keys, it doesn't matter that much. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to get my neck strap here, and then I'm going to get my horn out. Okay, so I'm going to play this one time at tempo and then one time slow. Go ahead and play along with me. So that's the idea pretty much with that. So now what I kind of want to talk about is how the theory behind what he's doing, not just simply the notes. So let's look at this first measure. We've got two big things that I want to talk about here. The first one being being this shape here, this 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. So that's actually, like I kind of hinted at before, is a common shape when you're playing in major 7, a major 7 sound. Because, all right, think about it. So the relative major to B flat minor is what? D flat major. So if you're thinking in D flat major, instead of this being 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, this is 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, which is very, very clearly, a major 7 sound, because you're hitting all the chord tones, but you're starting and ending on the 7th on that kind of color note in there. But he is putting that into the relative minor. So that's a cool trick you can do. Any lick that you can play over a major 7, you can play over the relative minor and vice versa. So it can give you a different color that you're not just playing, major sound over it. You can play the relative minor sound over a major chord, or, and as is the case here, a relative major sound over minor. And it kind of sounds pretty cool because it kind of emphasizes the 9th. So you're kind of have that 9th sound in there, which can sound pretty cool. So that's this part right here. So the next 2 beats, these notes, are basically just 1, 7, 1, 1 in minor. But now when we see that, that's a motif that we see later in the next bar. See, that's what is important about transposing all these licks, because he basically plays the same passage, ba-da-da-da. I mean, it's a little different, but it's basically the same passage. He's just, moving the notes around a little bit. So there's repetition here and here. So repetition is a good thing to use in your solos. And also with this 16th note fall sound, he uses that here, and then he uses that again in the same place in the bar right here too, which is another thing. It's not just repeating the same line, but he's repeating the same line in the same place in the bar, right? So this da-da-da-da, he's repeating it on beat 3, not just repeating it wherever. And then the 16th notes, he's repeating the same thing on beat 2. And this carryover, this tie, he's doing that right here too. And then the thing is so cool about this lick too is that he just ends clearly on 3, 5, 1, chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. And it sounds completely cool. It doesn't sound cheesy or hokey, but I mean, that's as clear as day that boom, here we are, we're playing and we're in B flat minor. Which is, I think that is like the coolest thing. This is such a neat lick. I really, really like it. So shout out to Bob Reynolds for playing some sweet music. And so that's pretty much that lick. Let me play it for you one more time. Then you can play along with me. I'll play it fast and slow again, and then that'll probably be it. The last thing I wanted to mention is for saxophone players, for tenor players specifically, if you're playing this lick, right here he does a false fingering on this second B flat where he, let's see if I can show you on here. He, on the B flat, he's playing bis for the first one, and then the second one he's playing bis, and then he's adding 1, 2, 3, and E flat on the bottom. And that's a Chris Potter trick that he does all the time on that note. It kind of fattens it up, and it kind of articulates it for you without having to move your tongue. So it sounds like this. Right, so that's a saxophone specific thing, but everything else is applicable to all instruments. So that's what that's about. Actually, I want to change one thing. I think I got this note wrong. Okay, this note is F. This isn't a G flat. That's an F. So it's not the 6th. It's the 5th. It was the 6th when I did it, but then when I was playing it, I was realizing, oh wait, no, that's not right. Let me change it. So this is now the 5. Sorry about that. But that's basically the lick. It's basically all pentatonic. Oops. It's all pentatonic anyway. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, and now the next step would be transposing it into every key. So if you were going to, let's see if I can take it down a half step. A half step down into my A minor. You can even kind of do that that same little false fingering trick. Let's take it down put it up a half a step into my B minor. See, it's hard. Right, and then just do that for all the other 9 keys that you have to do it in. And some of it'll lay better. I mean, I think it, like, just in that, every key is going to lay better with these licks. I thought that it laid better in A than in B for me. So I would not use it in B. I'd use it in, obviously, the key, and I probably would maybe try to figure it out and use it in A. Or you can use it in G or F or E flat or whatever. But, I mean, that's a lot of practicing right there, just playing that lick in all 12 keys. And it's a great brain buster. You know, man, it takes a lot of brain power to do that, because it forces you to think about this. It makes it so that you can't think about the notes. You have to think about the scale degrees and where it fits in the tonality you're playing in, the chord you're playing in. So if you're not thinking of playing a half step below that. You're thinking of playing, okay, what's the second or the ninth? What's the third? What's the, what are the intervals? And that's another way you can do it too. I mean, you can analyze it with intervals and saying, okay, that's a second, that's a third, that's a third, that's a third, that's a second, and that's the same. And then that's pentatonic. You can do it that way too. I tend to do it by scale degrees, but you can do it by interval also. So that's a little insight on how to analyze a lick in a jazz lick you like, or really anything. I mean, you could do this with orchestra pieces or concert band pieces. Like sooner or later, if you do this enough, everything you hear, you'll be able to kind of do this in your head. I mean, that's what I can pretty much do now. So I can pretty much figure, if I'm in a singular tonality, like what all the scale degrees are and where they fit. So you can do that with band pieces, orchestra pieces, anything you're playing. I mean, even take even some, pop song you like or rock song you like or something, and try to figure out, analyze the melody by scale degree. What's the scale degrees they're playing? How does it work? Like let's say you're taking this tune. I think you guys know this one. If you're taking that pop song, like try to figure out, okay, is he playing pentatonic? Is he playing a scale degree? Within the just scale wise motion, what are the notes? What's the repetition? What's the scheme? What's the form? What's all this? That would be pretty cool. Because some of these pop songs are not as cheesy as you think. Most of them are. Most of them are pretty bad, but some of them are actually pretty musically interesting. So that would be a cool assignment, So anyway, that's all for that. So if you have any questions, as always, contact me, leave in the comments, whatever, and I will see you in the next one.